Peter Jackson returns to Middle-earth to bring us the prequel to the critically acclaimed Lord of the Rings series, J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. It was originally intended to be broken up into 2 movies, but the producers decided it would be more worthwhile to split the movie up into 3 parts.
I'm going on an adventure!
Mithrandir, why the halfling?
Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid. And it gives me courage.
So this is your purpose, to enter the mountain?
What of it?
There are some who would not deem it wise.
A dark power has found a way back into the world.
The studio has assured the fans that the Hobbit trilogy will contain as much detail about the books as possible, but will also include material from Tolkien's other literary works involving Middle-earth. Such sources include the unfinished tales, The Quest of Erebor, and the appendices of The Return of the King.
There has been speculation that the trilogy will contain content from the Silmarillion, one of Tolkien's lesser-known but highly revered works. Using this material, the movies will delve into events such as Gandalf's disappearances and side tasks during The Hobbit, and will feature characters such as the wizard Radagast the Brown and the Necromancer.
The movies will each have their own subtitles to differentiate each as its own work. The titles are An Unexpected Journey, The Desolation of Smaug, and There and Back Again, respectively. The movies will feature actors both old and new. It stars returning actor Sir Ian McKellen as Gandalf the Grey, alongside Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins and Richard Armitage as Thorin Oakenshield, the leader of the 13 Dwarves.
The highly anticipated Necromancer will be played by Sherlock's own Benedict Cumberbatch, who has appeared in such films as Warhorse and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and rounds out the new talent to represent the Tolkien universe.
Other returning actors include, but are not limited to, Andy Serkis, Hugo Weaving, Cate Blanchett, Christopher Lee, Ian Holm, Elijah Wood, and Orlando Bloom.
Also returning for the production is a significant part of the production crew: writers, illustrators, art director Dan Hanna, and cinematographer Andrew Lesney.
Additionally, composer Howard Shore, who wrote the score for the original Lord of the Rings, has confirmed his involvement. The most significant involvement in the trilogy is the participation of Guillermo del Toro, originally chosen to direct the films as co-writer. All of this will hopefully add up to an experience on par with, or even greater than, the original trilogy. An Unexpected Journey premieres on December 14th, 2012. Howdy, y'all. I think it's just about time for a slice of this here program called Okay.
Anyway, the retro game being featured in this episode's Link to the Past is the game Sunset Riders, which can be found on the SNES, Sega Genesis, and in select arcades.
Now, Sunset Riders is a classic shoot-'em-up side-scroller set in the Wild West, where you shoot bandits, make out with hookers, collect bounties, and save damsels in distress. Needless to say, the manliest game ever.
However, when it comes to the story, there really isn't one. But who needs one anyway? All you need to know is that you and a few of your friends play as a group of bounty hunters looking to take down some bad guys and get paid. Meanwhile, you're being shot from every conceivable direction and nearly trampled by bulls.
Now, if you're not used to the typical run-and-gun games like Contra or Metal Slug, this game may prove rather difficult. If you are familiar with these games, then, well, it's actually still extremely difficult.
Well, not so much on the Sega Genesis version, since they only give you 2 characters to choose from, and only 4 of the 8 stages and bosses are present in the version.
So if you're interested in playing this game, we recommend either the SNES version or the arcade version, both of which offer you the choice of all 4 characters and allow you to play all 8 stages. Trust us when we say it's definitely worth searching, since playing with all 4 characters makes the game that much more enjoyable.
Now, for the SNES, this game will run you about $40 on Amazon.com. But if you can find a used video game store, you might be able to find it for a bit cheaper. The Sega Genesis version will cost you only $12, but you are paying for only half of the game.
And who the hell even has a Sega Genesis anymore?
Anyway, it's probably one of the most underrated retro games out there, and it definitely still deserves some love. If you can find a way to play it, you're bound to have fun.
Halo 4 is the newest game in the popular Halo franchise and the start of the Reclaimer trilogy. It takes place 5 years after the events of Halo 3, with Cortana now a dying AI and Master Chief wanting to save her. This leads him to the Forerunner planet of Requiem, where he finds the UNSC Infinity, which seems to be his only ticket back to Earth.
Along the way, he has to fight the new Promethean enemies along with Covenant troops, who didn't seem to get the memo that there's a truce with humans.
These new enemies bring new weapons to the Halo universe. However, favorite weapons have returned from the past games, and some were reworked into newer guns. The game is greatly improved from Halo 3. From the opening cinematic, the graphics fail to disappoint.
Master Chief and Cortana have gotten newer looks, which Cortana explains is because she needed something to do for 5 years.
And it must have been a slow 5 years, since the HUD has slightly changed, with Cortana's face appearing in the corner of it whenever she talks to you. The difficulty of the game seems to be much higher than that of its predecessors. The AI is smarter than it was before, causing the player to really think on their feet.
The multiplayer is back and in two forms, War Games and Spartan Ops. Both take place on the UNSC Infinity, with the player taking control of one of the new Spartan 4s. War Games is the new name for the same old multiplayer of games past.
It has all the same modes, except what happens in the game is different. Players now have the option to customize their loadouts, similar to the Call of Duty games. The scoring system also follows the Call of Duty line, with points being awarded for different kills and assists.
Spartan Ops is a chapter-based story with different objectives to complete. It is unique because it follows along the same time as the main story, except the player isn't Master Chief.
And after all of this, we give Halo 4 9 EXP points out of 10.
I'm Liz Jasko.
And I'm Travis Kovacs. This has been EXP. Get on his level.